I'm Rebecca. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Nessa.
This is the Family Showdown! Kind of a almost 70s rock band kind of vibe to it. I don't know.
Something like that.
A little different. Hey, welcome to live top 10 Family Showdown greatness. Randomness.
Big braggadocio. Want me to be the judge of whether it's greatness or not?
I think it's greatness. You know why? Because it's worker placement mechanism, baby. Woo! My favorite. It's my favorite. How about you? It's one of your favorites, isn't it?
One of my favorites.
Exactly. And I bet you're at least semi-interested in it, too, if you're watching. I'm guessing here. Just saying.
Our chat is on the fritz.
No! Hello, chats. We hope you're here. We're glad you're here. Hopefully.
All right.
Hunter's screen is going psychotic. Okay. Hey! Yay! See? Worker placement's my favorite, too. Look at that. All right. Woohoo!
All right, folks.
Yes, it is, Peter. It is hot in Texas. Blech.
It was 102 today.
Blech.
Felt like, I don't know what it felt like. 110?
Probably. And then the
113?
humidity is...
Yeah, so... Anyway.
It sounds just like that, too.
So this is a repeato of a list we made in April of 2017. So it's been 2 years and 4 months. Or 28 months if you're talking in baby age.
That's a toddler, y'all.
So, a little over 2 years. I usually try to repeat lists I like from a couple of years ago.
Oh, well, this is like the best list.
It is one of the best lists. Welcome to those joining.
Yay. Welcome
I'm Hunter. This is Rebecca.
Are you sure about that? You sure it's not the other way around? I'm not so sure.
All right. So, I found it interesting because I watched a good chunk of our video.
You filthy cheater. I haven't looked at it, so I don't know.
So, I watched a good chunk. Man, that's going to
clue.
drive me insane. That chat going on up and down.
I know.
So I watched most of our video because I found it interesting because that was one of our very first live top 10s.
Was it really?
It may have been our first live top 10.
What? And now it's like old hat. Meh, whatever. Pop online.
So
chat with people.
We've been doing live top 10s for well over 2 years now. Crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
You guys
Another thing
awesome.
I found is that there was a lot of turnover on my list. I don't know about your list. Because I don't know your list.
I didn't look at my list.
But there was a lot of turnover on my list.
I'm going to say there probably is a lot of turnover on my list just because I know roughly when I've played a lot of these. It's fairly recently for a lot of them. I think that's pretty cool. So,
So,
we shall see.
Worker placement. So I want to talk about a little bit about worker placement. Because there's always an argument. Apparently I'm on a
Does it have animals?
It always has an argument.
That's not the argument?
A lot of people say, that's not worker placement. That's action selection.
Oh no, here we go.
So I, in my downtime at work, thought of a saying. You ever heard the saying that
You have downtime?
that every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square?
Oh, one of these.
So
things.
every worker placement is action selection, but not every action selection is worker placement. I don't know if that means anything.
It's kind of got a little Venn diagram thing going.
What?
Isn't it the Venn diagram?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's little circles. It's a Venn diagram.
So
Everybody's got to have goals, guys.
the way I view worker placement is, that takes it away from action selection, is that you are blocking the spot of the other player. Maybe. Maybe. or you're penalized to go where someone already's gone or something like that. Whereas action selection could be with cards. It could be any number of ways. You could roll dice and pick one of the dice, and that's how you select your action. It could be any number of ways to select action. But worker placement has, for the most part, you guys can correct me in the chat and down in the comments, worker placement has the blocking, or you're taking an action that someone else cannot take.
I think I have Okay, I can't remember for certain about 2. You'll be able to tell me. The rest of them I know are worker placement for a fact. But the other 2, it's been a little while since I've played them, so I'm kind of like, I don't know. So is there a cord loose on the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
I tried to fix it several times. You can try to fix it because that's going to drive me completely insane.
You guys want to watch Hunter go insane live on TV?
Our chat monitor is flashing like a stoplight.
It is. It's kind of interesting, and we know because the stoplights like to go out frequently in our neighborhood. It's really exciting. Or you just kill it completely. That's cool too. But yeah, I think action selection's getting nitpicky. It's all worker placement,
right.
blah, 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 blah.
Maybe
I know I just said something that everyone's going to be like, are you serious?
Apparently that's what it's going to do tonight. What I can do is,
move it over
if the chat's really nice and tells me if our video stops, I'll put it on this monitor.
There we go, okay. There we go.
Turn that off. Or it'll drive me crazy. Alright, so after all this confusion and insanity,
yay,
we're gonna get to our list.
Okay.
One thing I found interesting, and I'm going to spoil our list. Hopefully I'm spoiling your... you may have done... Well, maybe I shouldn't say this. I'll talk for myself. Last time I put Scythe as my #1 worker placement game.
Because you like to troll people. I get it.
I have moved to the camp that it's not worker placement. Even though Mr. Stegmeyer says it's worker placement. My #1 last time was Scythe. It's not going to be Scythe this time. Did you put Scythe on your list? You going to change your list real quick? Okay.
No?
All right, folks.
I avoided controversy, I think.
Did you?
I think.
I've always had some kind of controversy.
I know, you're such a troublemaker.
All right, so I have our list from last time here, so I can comment where it was on our list last time. And as always, for the last couple years, I go first. So my number 10.
Crazy. Yes.
Oh, we're going to miss the chat every time I go to the
oh no!
do the technical
you guys
stuff.
are going to say all sorts of snappy commentary.
My number 10 is a somewhat brand new game.
Brand new to you.
It is Underwater Cities.
Under the sea.
So Underwater Cities, a lot of people compare this to Terraforming Mars. Mildly similar. You have a tableau, you get cards and you put them in a tableau. That's about the only thing in common. So in Underwater Cities, you are going to spots on the board to select actions. Those actions can do various things. The main goal is to build up a tableau of cards that give you all kinds of cool powers, as well as building your underwater city. Physically building, you build little domes and little tunnels between the domes and little farming places and all sorts of fun stuff. We haven't played this one in a while. We played it like a couple of times right when we got it, and we haven't played it since.
Because we're doing this
another challenge.
Stupid challenge thing.
The stupid challenge.
I like to replay things. I can't tell you how this past year
how many more days?
Graded on me.
48 more days. We're in the home.
Play like 1,000 games.
We're in the home stretch. So like 100 or something, maybe.
I can't.
I think we're about to break 100 games left.
I'm about to break.
100 games left to play. So that's my number 10.
I like to repeat games.
If you like worker placement, what I like to do with almost all my games is I like to do things on a main board that affects my area that is my own little world I'm building. I like games like that. And Underwater Cities that's the whole point of the game is to build your underwater city.
It is pretty cool.
So I like it. Good one. Good one. If you haven't played it and you like worker placement and tableau building, card drafting, all sorts of fun stuff, you should try it out.
It is. It's very good.
All right, what's your number 10?
My number 10 might shock you a little. Maybe. He's making a face. This is great. All right.
How is that not on my list?
You missed it on your list? Dun, dun, dun! Hunter's list is an asterisk for a change. This is exciting.
How is that? Did it not list it as worker placement?
No, it's in worker placement. That's how I found it. Hey, put my thing on the board. I'm trying to talk here. Instead of freaking out and going to the website.
All right, there you go.
The internet has no idea what you're doing, you psychopath. Okay.
I'm looking something up because I'm confused.
Okay, so my number 10, the controversial number 10, is Lorenzo il Magnifico, because that is the best. I've noticed that I like a lot of different worker placements, and I have tended towards the heavy side because it's one of my favorite mechanisms, and this is a heavier game. that I really enjoy. It's very tight. Shockingly, there's dice involved too. I know, don't fall over, but the dice in this, everybody suffers with them. You roll some dice, and then you get to use from that pool of dice and stuff. You get to choose out of certain columns different types of actions to do. And what's tricky with that one too is you also have this really tight. What is it? Is it called religion? Is it actually called religion? The scale?
Piety, maybe?
Or piety?
I think it's
piety.
piety.
And every like couple rounds they do like a piety check, and you have to keep track of that, which it's hard to come by. So it's really tight, and people can steal it from you, and steal the option to get it. There's very few of them on the board. Whew, it's so hard, and the penalties for not reaching those goals every time are really tough. So I mean, there's just this crazy balance going on, and you have to keep that in the back of your mind the whole time. I gotta check on my piety. It's a really good game, though.
But occasionally you might get lucky,
and some of those cards,
some of the cards don't affect the way you're playing the game. Like you might get penalties for blue cards or something. You're not even doing those. Yeah, right? You might get lucky, but it's pretty rare. They're pretty. Yeah, usually they're very punitive. Yes, I'm so proud of you. He spoke English. Punitive. Oh, my hopes are all dashed again. Man, you just I just destroyed your list. You just made me sad. With all its awesomeness. Because Lorenzo would probably be my number 10. Say it's your number 10. No. It'd be like a 5, oh my 5, 6 range. I'm glad it was. I don't know how I missed Lorenzo. Woo! I don't know what happened. All right. I'm number 1. It's so funny. How did I miss Lorenzo? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. My number 9 is Lorenzo. My number 9 or my number 10 is number 10. What? I'm confused. Because everything got pushed down one. Oh dear. Le Havre. So this is still, to this day, until someone proves me otherwise, my favorite Uwe game. What? Favorite Uwe. Still, huh? Yep, still. I just like it because for many reasons. There's cows. There's cows. There's 2 very different ways to play the game. One of them is you build those ships to get your food. Well, anyway, if you've ever played an Uwe game, you're feeding your people and you're trying to make it as efficient as possible. But there's 2 main ways. You can build ships that are very, very difficult to build, but you get permanent food. Sure. Or you build up a food engine and go crazy with that. So there's two distinct. You can do a little bit of both, but really you usually focus in one or the other. Yep. And every action you take is good. I mean, like you get like 20 of these things or 5 very powerful things, or you do this other thing that gives you tons of points. Everything you do is good. It's just it's a what is it? Everything is awesome? No. Something of plenty. Food? I don't know. It's a saying. Shenanigans. Someone will help me out. Well, it would help if you looked at the chat. I don't know where the chat's gone. What? So, I just enjoy it. It's very tight, especially even with 2 players. It feels tight. Yep. You can use other people's buildings. You just pay them a pittance, and you get to use their building, and they scream and yell. It's not a pittance if they keep paying you, though. Yeah, but you don't get to use your building, so you can break people's engines. Those Indians. I hate those Indians. It's just hold that thought. A really good worker placement game. There's a couple of Uves that I like almost as much, but this one's good. I think because it plays so well 2-player. Rebecca just left. She's done. I'm back with your list. She's out. All right. She had to go let the puppy in, but she's back. I'm gonna put her number 9 up real quick before she gets back. Her number 9 is. Wow, you made that very large. Whoops. Hey, you know what? I like that game. Yes! That's how mighty this game is. Put it on the screen. In case you weren't sure what this game was, Age of Empires, the Age of Discovery. Also apparently, for blind people to see. We just played this again recently, and it was the first time that we had played it with a multiplayer account, instead of just playing it 2-player. And it was awesome.
and it felt the strategy was different, but it was still a really awesome, solid game. This one, what's the name of it now? It's got a different name slightly, right?
Empire's Age of Discovery.
Okay, so it's slightly different title. But at least this map is split in half. The other one still is
it's
too,
the
right?
same
Basically
game.
the same game.
They changed the graphics up a little bit. But
so you've got the map on the left side of the New World, and then you've got on the right side a whole bunch of worker placement shenanigans. You can upgrade your regular little boring guy and turn him into a captain, or turn him into a merchant guy, or a priest. And then you go over to the New World, and you're going to get a bunch of goods. There's like a little set collection thing going on with the goods. Take over the land. It's area control, victory points, all sorts of good stuff. Really, though, the worker placement in that is just really fun. You've got specialty workers. I love that.
yeah.
In fact, we talk about that every time, how much fun that is.
Right.
And just playing it again kind of revived that. It was really, really interesting how solid this game is.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I mean, it plays really well 2-player, but you can kind of leave each other alone for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Playing with 5, it was crowded. It was a crowded mess on the map on the area control.
It was
on the
interesting
left.
because usually when we just play 2-player, like I'm like, okay, I'm going to avoid him and just collect as much as I can, and he usually does the same thing unless all of a sudden you're feeling kind of attacky. So we're fighting over the places on the board that we can upgrade and different things instead. And with the multiplayer, you're forced to go do that area control fight.
Such an important part.
Yeah, you can't avoid
We actually
it.
had some battles and things.
We
hardly ever fight each other.
Yeah.
But we had several battles during the thing of killing the little guys and stuff.
It was pretty awesome.
It's a good one. If you want a lot going on with your worker placement game, this is a good one. It's one of those ones where if you walk by it and looked at it, you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's a big giant dudes on the map game. But it really,
it's not.
It really
I mean,
isn't that way. I mean, it could almost literally be cubes marking who controls what area, but they use all your little worker guys turn in. Basically, you put your workers and then you travel over to the area control and they become the area control. And you play. You have a bag of workers like this big, full of different kinds of workers.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
It's a really cool game. It really ramps up, and you start off with 5 crappy workers, and by the end of the game, you're probably playing with 13, 14, 15 different workers.
I really think you need to do a top 10 list of things that start out crappy yet turn out great.
That's almost every board game, right? Start out with like a couple of sticks, and you end up with like fighter planes and stuff at the end.
You know what, Dan? I don't think we have done a top 10 dudes on a map game.
We haven't. I think.
If we did, it was a long time
Do we
ago.
have enough to do that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You've got area control.
Yeah. Let me do the math on that. If we have at least 20 games that we've played, then I think we can do a list.
I bet we have.
That's usually my mark.
Sure.
We have to have at least 20. That way we have a little...
Otherwise, the top 10 would be boring because we're like, hey, we played 10 games.
Right.
Here's our top 10
So 20 is usually my cutoff to do a list. We have to have at least 20. I know I've played 20. I'm curious if you've played 20.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it as much as him unless it's part of something else. Like, case in point, Age of Empires 3. Absolutely love it.
We probably have to stretch the definition a little bit of dudes on the map.
Yeah, I don't want to do that then.
All right, here we go. My number 8. I don't know what it is, but it's actually my number 9. It is Venus.
This low?
Venus.
I'm just stunned that it's this low.
Why?
I don't know.
I have a list. You should see my list. My list is so good, I forgot good games. Venus. This is a Vital Lacerta game. It is my favorite Vital Lacerta game. This is one of the ones that's borderline action selection. This is one that kind of is right there on the border because the way you play the game is you have one worker, one dude, and there's a grid of actions.
Yeah.
You take your worker and you can move each turn. You move it to an adjacent spot and take the action of that spot. But you can pay extra to break that rule. So like if you're in one corner and you want to go to the opposite corner, you can pay money to do that. But it does have the worker placement mechanism where people block each other from those actions that they're on.
Yep.
So that's why I consider it worker placement, is that you can actually
there's
blocking involved with Venus.
Yep.
So Venus is a game of winemaking, but it's like epic because you like make vineyards and you upgrade your vineyards and you have all kinds of different. There's workers on the player board too. I forgot about that. So there's workers on the player board, but you don't use them for action selection. You use them to upgrade the power of that spot. I don't know. But anyway, there's dudes on your vineyards, and you make wine, and then you take that wine and you can sell it. You can export it. You can sell it. You can put on wine. There's a wine show at the end of each year. Then you get take your best wine and you put it on show, and you get points for that way. You can do all kinds of like advertising, and it's all kinds of craziness.
It's pretty exciting.
There's weather that affects how your wine growing does for the year. It's got a lot going on. So if you like viticulture, and a lot of people do.
Who doesn't?
A lot of people do. Like viticulture, this is like the next step from viticulture.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not the next step. That's the next, because this game is heavy. Heavy. Okay.
Go back to the chat.
Yep. The chat's saying that too, right?
Viticulture Deluxe. Pretty much.
Ninja Turtle, you kind of have a point. Yes, sometimes.
All right. Back to Rebecca's number 8. What you got?
Number 8.
See how big you're in.
But a goodie. A classic.
You know what I haven't been doing? I haven't been saying where they've been on our list.
Yeah, I'm thinking this one.
Go ahead. Do yours and I'll start.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I'll catch up. Go.
I'm thinking this one was on my original list. It is number 8. It is Pillars of the Earth, and we got this fairly long ago, so I'm thinking it was probably on there. But this is a really good worker placement game. You don't need to have read the books. You don't need to know anything about the IP Pillars of the Earth at all. But it's a really good worker placement game. The only part of it that kind of revolves around the story is that you're building the church, and that's basically like the heart of what that book's about anyway. But the worker placement mechanisms in this are great. I love the way it's kind of a two-phase thing, because you go about getting your resources a certain way, and then you have more of a regular worker placement thing going on. So it's really cool because you have to kind of map out. You've got a bunch of different little meeples for this, and then you've got your worker placement, like, almost look like pawns, really, that you're moving around and doing some things on the board. And the board is gorgeous, and it's numbered. It's real utilitarian, but at the same time beautiful. And it's really easy. Once you've gone through the rules one time, it's really easy to hop back into that game because it's all numbered. And you just like, okay, my turn. You go through and you do everything on the board in order. Okay, reset, next round. It's really nice. I really like that a lot. And it's just a cool game. And didn't they reprinted it, right?
Yes.
So you actually can find this game now. For a long time, you couldn't find this game, and I almost hated talking about it because it was really hard to find.
Yeah, we got our second hand.
Yeah.
You got it on eBay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing. I'm glad. And it's glad you mentioned that. That's one thing that's really cool about it, is that there's two different types of workers. There's workers that are basically
little big and little meeples.
Resource gatherers. You basically assign them to gather resources, and then you have your builder guys that go out to the board, and those are your action selections. So it's you utilize those resources that you get on the board to do the various actions, and you also use those resources to convert them to other resources with your card. So it's got a lot of cool things going on. So to catch up, Age of Empires 3 was your number 9 last time.
Ooh.
Pillars of the Earth was your number 3 last time.
I believe it.
Le Havre was my number 5 last time. Everything else was not on our list last time.
I believe it.
So far.
Very cool.
So
very
far.
Interesting. Very
my
interesting.
number 7 is a game.
What? And let me guess. Is it a worker placement game?
It is a worker placement game called Orléans. So this is a deck building game where you're putting things in a bag, and that's your deck. But when you pull those guys from the bag, and those are your workers, and you take those workers and you put them on your player board, and you can do your player board, and you do different actions based on where you put those workers. So basically, it's a deck building where your deck is chits, but where your chits are your workers.
I'm going to be honest. As I went through the logic of what you just said, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just not put that on my list because I don't want to try to explain how it's a worker placement. It's a bag builder.
It's very much worker placement.
It is. But it's a really good game. Love this game.
It's worker placement.
No, it is. It's worker placement. I just think it's weird because you're not really blocking other people.
You can, because there's one place where you go to the other board. You take those workers and convert them and go to the other board.
True.
Yeah, this one's borderline. But I think it's a worker placement.
I thought it was too controversial, so I took it off the list.
What do we
Otherwise, it would be in my top 10.
You're not being edgy tonight?
I'm not being edgy tonight, no. I was too tired to be edgy. It's cool.
Are you saying I'm kind of like a pizza cutter?
Oh my gosh. Are you going to put a dad joke in the middle of this?
Am I like a pizza cutter?
Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I like a pizza cutter? Am I
All edge and no point. Your turn.
I can't even continue. I have no will to live. Okay, so... Wow.
What's your number 7?
I'm so sorry, chat. I'm so sorry. My number 7 is definitely new to this group.
Raha.
And it is the Rajas of the Ganges.
Raha.
This game is so cool. Okay, it's a cool worker placement game. It's got a lot of neat things going on with it. It's very busy. It's beautiful. It's got like it hits all the sweet spots as far as a worker placement goes with me. It doesn't take a long time to play. It plays great 2-player. Plays great multiplayer. And then it's got this really cool scoring system. And I don't see it very often, and I love it. You've got 2 scoring tracks. And they go in opposite directions. And when the 2 shall meet, wherever that may be, you may want to do it a little bit up here. Or you may want to make it even. You can do, there's several different ways to go about winning. But once they intersect, that's where it triggers the end of the game.
Right.
It is so cool. I just really like that about that game. And it's really interesting the different things you can do, period. It's just a really pretty game. Very cool.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've played, I think we played that 3 or 4 times. I think every time I played a different way.
Yeah, you have.
One time I did all, like, glory, victory, whatever they're called, glory points or prestige points.
Yep.
Another time I did all money. Another time I did balance. So maybe we only played it 3 times.
Yep.
I don't know. But I love it. It's a good one. Good one, good one, good one. I like this game because it's got dice, it's got workers, it's got tiles on a board, it's got all kinds of cool stuff going on.
It does. It's pretty awesome.
Not cool enough to make my list. But.
Wow.
Here's my number 6, which was really my number 7.
Void anyway, we all know.
My number 6 is the Crown of Amara. Crown of Amara. So this
Amara's
one is pseudo worker placement again.
Blasphemy!
You know, I made this big caveat that you block each other, but you don't really... Do you block each other in this game? You don't block each other.
You have your own mats. I mean, your own player board.
No, you have the rondelles. Is where the workers are.
Oh, yeah, but you can each go to the
same spot.
The same rondelle.
But when you take those actions, you make those actions less valuable for the other player.
I mean, it still affects... I would consider that worker placement.
I don't know. But I love this game. So, Crown of Amara, this was all... I don't know if I want to say all the rage, but it was kind of like there was a lot of buzz around it. Like
we were buzzing about it for
2 years ago.
Was it that long ago? No.
It was.
It wasn't 2 years ago, was it?
Was it last year?
It was last year, I swear.
Was it last year?
It was last year.
No, because we didn't go to BGG Cruise last year. We went to BGG Cruise 2 years ago.
I feel old.
Was it 2 years ago?
I don't know. I'm senile. Move on.
But anyway,
everyone's like, boring.
So it was all the buzz because it came out at Essen. I don't know when it was, or around Essen, and there was only like a handful of copies that made it to the States.
And everybody went berserk.
And then everyone was like trying to get it, and they were ordering it from Europe for like $50 shipping and all this other stuff, and it didn't come out. And then they did this like one sneaky little print run that no one knew about. They just showed up in game stores. It was never announced. And then people bought it, and then it's out of print again, and now supposedly it's coming out again.
What?
Yeah, it's like coming out. Someone's bringing it to the States officially. I don't know what's going on with this.
Well, someone
game.
Please find out what's going on with this nonsense.
I got this at a random local game store or someone.
That's right. It was just sitting on the shelf. We're like, what?
No, someone told us.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Gaming wife. I don't know if she's in the chat because we're hardly seeing the chat tonight. But she told me about it. And I ran and got it, and
he did run.
He
ran.
Yeah, I went the next morning.
He did.
But supposedly it's supposed to come out, but
it better.
Most of the people that know about it a lot of the people that knew about it played it at the retreat, Dice Tower Retreat.
Yeah, that's right. That's where we
and at the BGG's Cruise, so it got a little bit of buzz, but it was just unavailable and it kind of fell off the radar. But it's a really amazing game.
Really
so
good.
Anyway, I didn't explain what the game is. So you have these 2 rondelles. You basically have 2 workers.
You have 2 boards.
So
really, 2 main boards.
So there's 2. One over here. One side's your resource management. So your little workers going around doing resources on this side. But then your other side, you're over here. Your other worker moving. This is where you spend your resources and convert them to victory points and different. You can get cards, workers that help, like cards that help you and different things. So you have to kind of balance getting resources versus doing things with those resources. And it's got a cool action selection mechanism where you put 3 cards face down and you reveal them as you go, and you kind of got to react to what's going on the other players are doing. But you can choose what order you do those in. They're not like programming, like I'm going to do this first, then this, then this. You just have 3 actions, and you can pick the order you want to do them in. So it's kind of a puzzle to figure that out. Then a puzzle also to react to what the players are doing, because if they take something you might have wanted to do, you have to kind of rearrange what you're doing. But it's a really cool, really solid Euro game. We'll hear about it. We'll hear about it more later.
Hush you! You don't know me.
Let me get over to the chat. I'm gonna pop yours up, and I'm gonna check the chat. All right, what you got? Number 6.
All right, my number 6 is an Uwe Rosenberg game. It is Ora et Labora. And it's not cool just because it's in Latin. I think that's pretty awesome, too. But
you got the Ora and the Labora cover. No.
Oh, well, it's et because it's Latin, and et is and. Do I really need to go through this? Anyway. So, this game... Hey, you know what? This is another kind of rondelle-ish kind of thing, but with the resources.
Resources is a rondelle type thing.
It's so cool. Okay, so this one's another worker placement game, and it's really cool, and I really enjoy it. It's a little bit longer. It's a little heavy again. But what makes this one truly unique is the resources, and it's on this cool little rondelle, but there's also a dial that's moving on it, and your resources can accumulate if you don't pick them up for a while.
Right.
Or Hunter snipes them from me, and then I don't have any resources, and he has like 12. Okay, not quite. But he'll get like 5 resources, and then you gotta wait for that to build up again, or just jump the gun on it and get like 1 resource. Whoop-de-doo. You know, it feels like a waste.
Right.
You know, you're working so hard to get that, and then you end up getting like 1. So you want it to build up, but you don't want it to build up too much. I'm really curious how this would play with more.
You'd have to jump in a lot earlier.
A lot more. You're going to have a lot less to build. We build a lot more, I think, because of that.
And you have to pay attention to what people are doing more, because with just one person, you go, okay, she doesn't need wood for anything. I can hold off. But if you got 3 other people playing, we've never played it with 4, but you're like, okay, one of those people need wood. I got to jump in earlier on it. You can kind of press your luck a little more with 2 players. I kind of like it. It opens it up, and you have tons of resources and things going on.
It's fun. So. I really like it 2-player a lot. So I don't even know if I mean, eventually, if someone wanted to, I would play it multiplayer, but I think it's a great 2-player game. I wouldn't argue with that. So, and yes, Mentot, you hit the nail on the head with the etc. You go. Woohoo! Latin in the chat.
My number 5, which is really my number 6.
Woohoo!
Actually, this may actually be our number 5. We may actually... Lorenzo's in here somewhere. I wonder if there's any more you found.
This is the most ridiculous list you've ever made.
Let's see if any other...
Null and void, sir.
I'm listening there. I don't think there's any... Nope, we haven't listed any more that was on our previous list. So not a lot of crossover. But number 5 is a new game. Fairly new game to us, but it's not a new game. And that is Yido. Yido.
Almost put this on my list.
Yido. I really love this game. Yido. So if you're looking for
this game is good.
If you're looking for an epic worker placement game with a lot going on, a lot of things happening, a lot to learn, lots of rules, like next level worker placement, Yido is the one for you, because there is just so much going on with this game.
Yeah,
it's got bidding. It's got this weird rondelle thing going on with a guard trying to get you.
I forgot about this.
It's got all kinds of card drafting. It's got a little bit of a tacky going on. It's got goals. It's got contracts. It's got all sorts of craziness going on.
And honestly, the more we play that, the more I just love this game. Yeah. I have a feeling it's going to start climbing the list the more we get to play it.
But it's sadly out of print.
Why? Why did they do this with the
sadly out of print? But it's
bring it back. Bring it.
It's just really. I think.
It's really.
I think the reason this one may not have stuck around is because it's such a heavy game.
Oh,
it's a heavy game.
It's true.
As far as I know, the designers. I don't.
Not designing anymore, kind of thing.
Well, they're not well known. I mean, like Vital, like he comes out with those are heavy games too, but they come out and boom, everyone's on it, right? This one's kind of a bear to learn. It's just, I don't know if it flew under the radar or if it just, I don't know.
Could have.
Because we weren't really heavy into games when this came out. Or at least not into heavy games yet. So we missed the boat on this one. But we got it. I got it in the BGG Marketplace is where I got this game.
Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh, but the chat's cracking me up. The typos are great. Yido to hedonism.
What?
Well, George was trying to ask you how attacky is Yido, but his autocorrect attacked him.
Oh.
So, yeah, I don't know how hedonistic it is, but how attacky is Yido, you think?
I think you can regulate it. I think I'm trying to remember because we played with everything.
Been a while.
think there may be cards you can pull out of the game. I think I may be wrong, but I think there's symbols on the cards that have the attacky, and I think you can pull them out of the game.
Oh, so you could.
I think
like
that's just. But that said, I don't remember it being really mean. I don't remember it being that way.
No. It's really
Don't
about.
remember.
It's
like
about
more
the
like someone's
replacement
going.
of strategy
Someone's
and achieving
going.
goals.
Someone's going for an objective, and you're going for it at the same time, and only one of you is going to make that objective.
Yeah.
And you build up. Takes a little while to build up to it. That's a way to attack. But that's in any game. Like if there's a goal you're going for and a goal I'm going for, if I end up getting it first, then you're going to lose out, right? That's not really attacking. But there is. As far as I know, there is straight up attacking in the game.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I think it would
But I don't remember
it.
it being really brutal or anything like that.
No, because it couldn't have been too bad because I liked it.
I almost want to pull
Just
the
to
box
say-
down to see if I'm right about those
Yeah, if we have
cards.
time
I can't
at the end,
remember.
we could. So yeah, it's it couldn't have been too bad because I really did.
The bidding for two. We've played this 2 and 3 player. The bidding's tricked up. Basically, if I recall correctly, there's only 2 of the 3 places in 2 player get bid on. One
That's
of them
right.
every round. There's 3 locations that you bid on. I can't remember. I can't recall exactly what they're different.
You're
They're
remembering
very
it better than I
different things. But if I recall right, in 2 player, basically one says I want to bid on this area, and the other person says I want to bid on this area, and then one of the areas is omitted. As far as if I
think
remember,
you're right.
there's only going to be 2 active each turn. 3 player. Maybe similar. I don't remember, but 4 player you use the full all the different areas. But that's just part. That's just a piece of the game.
Yeah.
That's just a small. Not
There's
just
a
small.
lot
It's a
going
portion of the game. It's not. That's not the whole game. That's kind of like you do that the first part of the game. You get a little get something. You get some resources or some cards or some different things, and then you go into the meat of the game, which is the main part of the board where you're doing all the worker placement and things like that. So.
True.
I don't recall us having any issue with the bidding.
No, we really enjoyed pretty much every aspect of this game. I don't remember anything standing out like that, except how much we liked it. So this should be the first game we play after
one of the first
thing is over, because it'd be cool to kind of do a mini review with everybody about it, because it's an intriguing game.
I remember
it's
it being much tighter.
I expected.
A much tighter game 3 player. I do remember that.
Yeah. But it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
There were some places where we didn't get to do what we wanted to do, whereas 2 player it's kind of more of a it's more of a not like we're trying to block each other. It's like trying to find the most efficient way of doing it.
Yep.
Whereas in 3 player it's like, okay, I think he's going to go here first, so I need to do this first.
Yeah, you definitely want to plan ahead.
It's a lot more like that. In 2 players, like whatever she does, I'll just pick something else.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, Netters, I'm thinking, if I recall correctly, that it's not really Trajan, but it had a lot of mini things going on.
There's sections of the board where you're doing different things.
It kind of reminded me vaguely of Trajan.
And there's a little guard guy that's walking around, and wherever he ends up, there's ways to manipulate where he goes. He's got a little bit of randomness, if I remember right, but there's ways you can do things to manipulate it. Yeah. And wherever he ends up, your dudes get thrown in jail, so you don't get the actions of that spot.
Go there. So yeah, it's really cool.
So that's one way to attack you if you have a way to control that guard to make it land on someone else's spot.
Now that you said that, I think I recall causing some
But
trouble.
you can kind of avoid it.
Yeah, you
kind
can.
of, and it's not the end of the world if the guard does show up at your spot. Anyway, my number 5
was that.
Yeah, that's my number 5.
Yeah.
You talked about it more than I did. I thought it was your number 5.
No, you talked a lot about it. You remember many more details than I do.
All right, what do you got?
My number 5 is Totally Liquid. That's right, it's Dinosaur Island.
Have we played Totally Liquid? We haven't played it yet.
We haven't played it yet.
I'm so busy doing
Doesn't matter.
thing.
It's Totally Liquid.
Sitting right.
Oh, it's in shrink. It makes me sad.
Yeah, we've been playing different games. We haven't had a chance to do
Stupid challenge. Why'd we do it?
Whatever. Our self-ashamed's almost empty.
But yeah, okay, so we've just played the base game, as you can tell. Love this game. It's worker placement. It's got dinosaurs. It's got hooligans. It's got theme park. It's kind of like a build your own theme park, but you're messing with DNA and messing with science and building dinosaurs that you shouldn't, and you gotta keep track of your security or you will end up with Jurassic Park. It is so much fun. It's like To me, it's like rereading Michael Crichton's book over again, but this time you get to kind of play around with it and be like, oh no, the fence went down. You know? But what stinks about that, though, if you actually do let your security breach, the dinosaurs don't go after those rotten hooligans that don't pay to go in your park. They go after the paying customers.
The hooligans are dexterous because they got to jump fences.
That's true. They're ninjas, man. They're like, first sign of trouble, whoop, they're gone. Sneaky devils. So yeah, I love every bit of this game. Love every bit of it.
That's not a bad idea for once we get through the resolution to play Edo live. It's a bit long, but we could film it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a really cool game. I really
yeah.
Dinosaur Island. It made my short list, but we can talk about that later.
Oh, we'll be thinking of you, Marco. Yay!
All right, onward.
All right, let's do this. What you got for
my number 4? Now Dinosaur Island obviously wasn't on your list last time because we didn't own it.
I was gonna say it's too new.
All right, my number 4 has already been mentioned. It is Age of Empires,
you like this way more
Age of Discovery.
Of course he did.
This game has done nothing but gone up my list after we played it with more players. I think the sweet spot for this one is probably 3 or 4. I think 5 is a bit much. I loved it at 5. I like it better at 5 than I do 2. But I think I would like it better at 3 or 4 than 5 or 2. So I think the sweet spot is 3 or 4 players. But it's not one of those where you're waiting. There's a lot of downtime because you basically play a worker.
Oh yeah,
it goes really fast.
Very fast turns.
It's just the game got really long. Like we can knock out Age of Empires in maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We played like 3 hours with 5 players. It's probably 30 to 45 minutes a person.
You had to stop and think about what you're doing a little bit more with multiple players because you had to map it out. People were sniping your places. There was a lot of area control battles going on that we just avoid most of the time. So you and I.
One of the things I found interesting about the 5 players is that when you send the guys over to colonize the thing, we never filled that up.
Oh no!
It was full almost every round. That thing was packed full of people. So you're like, normally we go, oh, I want to do this, and I'll go do this. It's like, no, colonists. And then when that fills up, then you think about doing other stuff because you got to get your guys over to the board. Whereas the area control thing seemed like a lesser factor for us when we played 2 players. But I think it dropped out of my top 10 games of all time, but it's pretty close to my top 10 games of all time.
Random side fun fact for this one. The ships look like chocolate. Do not eat the boats. Just saying.
They do look like chocolate.
We call them chocolate. We're like,
chocolate. And they're not plastic. They're some kind of rubber material.
It's weird. It looks like chocolate. It is the weirdest thing.
It's very strange. The version we have, I don't know what the newer version.
Yeah.
Anyway, Age of Empires, what she said. Plus, I love it. I love it more.
Garbage. Anyway, your list is total rubbish.
What?
You didn't even have your number 5 correct.
I know. What's your number 4?
I don't even know.
It's already been mentioned.
We know. It has been.
Oh, and Age of Empires last time was my number 3. There you go.
Wow, how the mighty have fallen.
Fallen what? 2 places?
1. You said it was number 3, and that's number 4.
Oh yeah, 1 place.
Wow, math. The more you know.
All right.
Okay.
Tell me about
this one is probably
Venus.
Venus is my heaviest game on here, I think. I'm pretty sure. Like we said before, it's Viticulture on crack.
Netter's bugged out. Bye, Netters.
Bye, Netters. So yeah, it's like Viticulture and Viticulture plus, and then something else, and then there's Venus.
Because it's not that far. No, maybe it is.
Okay, if we had tried to play Venus right after we first had learned how to play Viticulture, our minds would have melted. Yeah. There's no way.
There's a lot going on.
It is a very heavy game. But that being said, it's really neat, and it's got a lot of very logical, okay, well, if I do this, then these sorts of things will happen. Engine building stuff going on. It's really, really cool game. And yes, I definitely believe this is my favorite of Lacerda's. By far. Yeah. By far.
I don't know by far, but it's
by far for me.
It's definitely my favorite.
It's my favorite. I keep looking back there to see if I've missed something, but nope. Nope, it's by far my favorite. Lisboa comes close, but this one, pretty awesome.
Boring.
What? Garbage.
All right, what's my number 3? is.
I don't even know. You're number 3.
We're in the high rent district now.
I don't want to say it in case it's high.
My number 3
What?
is... What the heck? Oops. I got your picture for number 3.
Man, you're messing up.
My number 3 is Viticulture! Viticulture!
What is it with us in winemaking? We don't even really drink wine.
I hate wine.
Yeah, and we like these wine games.
So Viticulture was my number 2 last time. If you discount Scythe, it was actually my number 1 last time. So Viticulture, this is... I don't know if this is what had us fall in love with worker placement games, but it was pretty close to the one that did have us fall in love with worker placement games.
Was for me.
We put off getting this game for like a year and a half after it came out. We're like, winemaking? What is winemaking? Who would want to do winemaking? So we just kept seeing the reviews and the positive buzz and all of the big things, and so we're like, okay, fine, we'll get it. And we got it.
We
and
never looked back, and now people suffer because
we played it like 2 or 3 times the first week that we got it. Like this is amazing. It's the best game ever made. It was my number 1 at one time. It's someone's number 1 right now. So
indeed,
it's still hanging around my top 10. It may be in my bottom part of my top 10. I can't recall. But
ridiculous. Love
this game. If you're looking for a solid worker placement game, what's really cool about this game, it plays great with 2, plays great with 6, any number between there works great because it's just, again, it's those games that where you got stuff going on a main board, but you're building out your little thing over here. So you get your grapes, and you crush your grapes, and you make wine, and you sell your wine, and you have all these different little buildings you can build on your board to make your engine a little more efficient. You can get different vines to make different kinds of grapes.
Yeah.
It's really solid game.
Really good game.
The one of the few games I would say the expansion is essential. I think Tuscany is so amazing. It may be my favorite expansion of all time.
Ooh, over Champions of Midgard?
It may be my favorite. Because I like Champions without the expansions.
That's true, you do. I don't.
But Viticulture, if you're looking for a solid worker placement game, don't let the theme, don't let the concept turn you off to it.
That's something in general I've noticed too anymore. A lot of games, they've really knocked it out of the park a lot of the time. Not always, but with a variety of different, completely unexpected themes for games, and they're just really cool. Since we kind of tried something new with Viticulture, I've noticed a lot of our other games. I mean, like Meeple Circus. That sounds so ridiculously random. But that's a really fun game.
It is ridiculously random.
You know, it is, but it's super fun. You know, I mean, there's all these different themes that I was like, I wouldn't have thought about that. But that's a really fun game. You know, just pretty cool. All right.
Kabuki Kid has not played Viticulture.
What? So when are you coming down here so you can play it? Because
what?
This needs to be fixed.
She likes more tacky, I think.
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
All right. My number 3. Hook us up.
So, yeah, I said it was my number 2 last time.
Okay.
Effectively my number 1 last time.
Gotcha. My number 3 has been mentioned before also, and I guarantee that it is also new to the list because it's new to a lot of people, and that's Crown of Amara. I really like this game. I really enjoy the fact that there's 2 boards that you're messing with, and it's almost 2 different worker placement issues you're doing. And, you know, you have to juggle that. Okay, do I want to work with trying to manage my resources this time, or do I want to go and find different creative ways of spending them to get the most victory points? And as you upgrade and get things, that you get the crowns, you know, you go from a, let's start with a duke or something, and prince and king. You have like all these different levels, and each time you put the little crown at the top of their head. It's really cute. I like the little gimmicky thing they did with it, but it stinks that it was so hard to find, because I think that with, like he said about the social media and everything, hyping it up and then fell flat because everyone's waiting for it. So we're going to chase whatever's in print at the moment we can get a hold of. So I think this one may have slipped under the radar. If you haven't played it, it's medium weight. It's got a little bit of, you know, front loading on the rules and stuff. But once you learn it, it's really easy to pick it back up because the board is so helpful. I really enjoy that about the game.
I just did a quick look. It says Q3 this year is coming out.
Oh,
so
good.
That usually means Essen.
Yeah.
Again. Why would it come out again at Essen? I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
That's crazy. Baron is first. Thank you, Sindar.
But if you can get a hold of Crown of Amara, if you like the midweight 90-minute Euro games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that perfect spot for Euro games. I really enjoy it. So it's good stuff.
This is weird doing this all on one computer, on one screen.
I know. You're so spoiled with your screens.
I know. All right, my number 2. Oh, Crown of Amara obviously wasn't on your list. You said that.
Yeah, I did.
All right, my number 2 is Anachrony. So we just got to play that this last weekend because we were doing this list. I wanted to decide between my 1 and 2. So I played 2 games. 1 is my 2. The other one is my 1.
Wow, interesting. I wonder what that could be.
So my number 2 is Anachrony. This is... what's so weird about this game? I never see anyone playing this game. I never see it like
at cons.
But everyone always says, you got to try it. You got to try it. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's just... I guess this maybe isn't a convention game. But, I love this game. It's so cool. There's so much going on. It's worker placement, but again, you have...
It's pretty heavy, too.
It is a pretty heavy Euro game. So you have a board that's the main board, and this is like they call it the capital city, and it's been like nuked and destroyed, and you have to wear like mech suits to go out to go do workers at that spot. But at the same time, you have a area that's your little tableau that is safe, that is not radiated or deadly to go to. So you build all these buildings, and then you can take your workers without mech suits and play them on your building. So it's kind of a balance between what do I send out to the main board, and you have to power those suits up. It takes resources to take those suits out there. Or you can send your workers to your board and do things there, but usually it's not the cool actions. They're kind of more secondary type actions. But what's the coolest thing about this game is it's got a hint, a taste of time travelness. So
weird.
So on your turn, you go, I really need a yellow cube. I'm going to, in the future, I'm going to send a yellow cube back to now. I'll get the yellow cube this turn, and then on a future turn, I'll send that cube back to keep the time stream normal.
Didn't we do an obnoxious board game blender about this one?
Yes.
It's awesome. You should go check it out.
Future Hunter, yes.
Yes, Future Hunter.
I'll talk about that in a second. But so this game is really cool. It's got a lot of things going on. You build buildings. You can build super projects. It's got the time travel thing going on. It's got anomalies and all sorts of weirdness happening. Many different ways to win. And one thing about it is that towards the end of the game changes a little bit. There's like an asteroid that impacts the planet.
It's time to leave,
basically you're trying to build, at that point, you're trying to build up the resource you need to get off the planet because it's falling apart.
Yep.
But the resources change, your motivations change, that last few turns of the game. You're also there's an in-game way to trigger the end of the game, so you got to be ready for that and be prepared.
Yep.
Because the first time I played, I didn't get off the planet, and I got like half the points that Rebecca got because I didn't prepare properly. Because it just ended. I'm like, what just happened? So
it was fun. I enjoyed it.
It's got asymmetrical powers. You got different.
That's cool too.
They're called paths. There's different paths that do different things.
Wasn't I Harmony this time?
There's paths of harmony, path of progress, dominance, and I don't know what the other one is.
Yeah,
but they
cool.
do different. They have different special powers. You have different leaders, and there's different ways. There are different things they have to do to accomplish the goal to get off the planet. So
it's very cool.
So you're playing a little bit differently, and it's just a really, really cool game.
It's pretty awesome.
Love
you know what? It's so cool. It's also my number 2.
Is it?
It is.
That's crazy. So.
Yeah, I really enjoy this game. It's heavy, but I think it will reward you for all the reasons that he said. And then some. It's a really good game. And one of the reasons I think so was because of the time travel thing. Every time somebody says, oh, this game has time travel in it, I think, they've ruined it. They've screwed it up. I have yet to see a game that had time travel in it that worked really well. This one is cool.
Because they just touched on it, right?
They touched on it. They didn't make it the game, but the technology's there if you need it. Of course, then my brain is going, so why didn't my smart little self in the future just send me the ship that I need to get off the planet instead of a stupid cube? Just saying.
They're busy struggling to survive, too.
Garbage. Anyway. It's the same plot hole as in like all the science fiction movies, right? But hey, there you go. I thought it was really cool. I really like this.
The other thing I didn't mention about the time travel is you have these super projects that become available each turn, but they can only be developed during that time period.
Yep.
So if you go into the future and you want to build this project in the past, you actually have to time travel back. And they call it putting your focus on the past. So you basically time travel back and then build that project.
Yeah.
So it's not like I said, it's just they kind of touch on it. It's a piece of the game, but it's an important part of the game is that time travel.
It is. And I just love that we have Bill and Ted going on and like Endgame, all sorts of time travel.
They did that.
Shenanigans
they did exactly the same thing in Bill and Ted. They're like, I need the keys.
Yeah.
So I'm going to steal the keys. I'm going to put it right here.
Yes.
You got to remember to do this. And then he reaches down and the keys are there.
That is the best thing.
It's funny.
Such a good movie.
What's funny is if you're earlier in the movie, the keys go missing. And you don't know why they put that in the movie. And then later on, it's like,
okay, why does this matter? Yeah.
How are we talking about Bill and Ted?
Because
anyway,
it's a chat.
So we have the most anticlimactic number ones.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I know what yours is.
I know what yours is.
I know.
You know what? See if the chat.
All right, yeah,
let's see if the chat. No,
I know you've got a long delay, but it's okay. We'll wait.
It's simple.
Let us know. I'm curious. What's Hunter's number one? What's my number one? You already probably know.
I think I already spoiled your number one.
You always do. Actually, I always spoil my number one. So it's all good.
So while we're waiting to let you guess. Tell us down in the comments or in the chat what your favorite worker placement game is.
Heck yeah, because it might be something we haven't played yet, and we want to play it because we love worker placement games. It's our fave. Okay, it's my fave.
Gray Fox just announced a brand new worker placement. Well, he went on Kickstarter today. I didn't know about it. I guess I'm just not hip with the stuff. It is a castle defense worker placement game. I think it's worker placement.
Really?
But yeah, basically it's a you basically physically build a little castle thing and monsters and things attack you and you have guards on the walls.
That's just Castle Panic.
No, it's tricked up. Anyway.
Oh, Brent. Brent knows you.
No.
I did have Manhattan Project on my list as I was
the Energy Empire, not the original one.
Yeah. I haven't played the original.
So my number one, it was mentioned in the chat, not surprising. Again, we played Anachrony this weekend. We also played Champions of Midgard.
Oh my goodness. This game with the expansion.
I hate to go back to my number two, but I forgot to mention something.
You killed me,
I think we've decided that we like base game Anachrony, other than the mechs. Over the expansions. Because we tried every expansion at this point, and none of them, we kind of just ignored them almost.
Yeah.
And
I did.
So base Anachrony is all you need. Get the mechs, just because the mechs are cool.
The mechs are cool.
But all you need to play is base game. But Champions of Midgard, we played with everything this weekend. All the expansions, all the promos. We threw everything. We threw the kitchen sink
Wasn't there even a Z-Sam in there?
There was some C-Zams.
Or C-Zam, that's
some
right.
Some C-Zams. We had the chicken boat. We had all sorts of craziness
I forgot about the chicken boat.
We had everything. Everything that exists for Champions, we played with it, and it was awesome. This just reinforced how much I love Champions of Midgard. It's one of my favorite games. It's top 3 or 4 game of all time for me. Love it. So it's a worker placement game, but you go out and basically use those workers to collect resources and things to get workers. I mean, other types of workers. They're actually warriors, but the warriors are dice. So you have all these different kinds of dice. You go out to different areas of the land. We go fight trolls. You go fight undead. You go fight monsters with those guys. You roll the dice and you get hits and defense and stuff. So it's worker placement mixed with attacky dice game. Oh, perfection. Well, not perfection because it's not my number one game, but pretty close to perfection.
It's your number one game on this list.
Number one game on this list.
You know what? I actually like this game now because I hated the base game. Base game hated me back. But with this one, because they have now this whole like Valhalla thing, I can let my sad little dice rolls hit. My guys can die off, and you get cool little benefits, even though they died. I love it.
Yeah,
I finally can play this game.
This game is just, I can go on and on. It's got asymmetrical powers that are really powerful.
Yep.
You have the expansions give you new types of dice.
Yep.
You have leader dice.
Yep.
You have leader powers. You can get hidden objectives that players don't know that you have. You can get one-shot superpowers. Oh, so many. Oh,
Yep,
anyway.
Yep.
Anyway,
Good
this
times,
game
good
is
times.
amazing. Amazing.
Yep. Wait. Alien Frontiers is worker placement. Yes.
Dice placement, but dice are your
placement,
workers.
but, yeah. And wait.
Wait
You're asking
for,
about the
for,
wait
cha-
for
for,
champions?
for champions?
It's definitely medium.
It's, well, medium for us.
Medium to heavy.
The base game of champions
is medium.
is only slightly more complex than like Lords of Waterdeep or something like that.
Yeah.
In fact, it may be on par with Waterdeep. The only confusing thing about it, well, not confusing, the only thing that's kind of extra is the whole recruiting dice and using those dice to fight monsters and being able to judge using some probability to go, okay, I need to have 3 of these dice and 2 of these dice to get like 4 hits or whatever. There's some mathiness to that. And I don't know if that makes it a heavier game. It's just that's part of the game is you have to. It's dice. You're rolling dice, and there's certain things are going to happen percentage wise. And if you take 2 dice to fight this monster, you're going to lose. And if you don't know that's going to happen, then you might get frustrated with it. So it's heavier in that way. But Lords of Waterdeep has buildings and different things going on. You're building buildings and doing quests and different things and intrigue cards. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. Dan is just hitting it out of the park tonight. He's got Galaxy Quest quotes now. He's like, it's also an alien planet. Is there air? You don't know.
So, Champions
Sorry,
of Midgard.
I am totally distracted by saying
It's heavier in
that-
a different way. It's not. I don't know if it's rules
Solid,
heavier than Lords of Waterdeep. That's what I always compare worker placement to in weight.
Yeah.
But it's a little more meaty. There's more going on in the game.
Yep.
All
It's
right.
true. Yes. Sorry, I got distracted. Quit distracting me, chat. But yeah, no, it's actually a good game.
And Champions of Midgard was my number 4 last time.
It's gone up a little bit.
It has gone up.
But I think you actually predicted that before we even got the expansion. I want to say, you may not have said it in that list, but at some point back then, you did say you thought this game was going to get better and better for you because you really liked it. Definitely came true.
It's creeping up my list.
Why am I even looking at my list? Okay.
Your favorite game of all time!
I saw Kabuki, I think, had mentioned it. Yes. Viticulture. You guys all know it's my number 1. If you watched my top 100, if you didn't, you should go because there's lots of cool games on there. But, yes. And one thing that you didn't mention that I like too is for those of you that haven't played a lot of games like that and you want to try Viticulture, it's cool because when you get the expansion, it's like leveling up the game. So you're going to increase the complexity a little bit, and if you want to increase it a little more, you can add different aspects of the Tuscany stuff to it. It was really cool. I really like that about the game. You could keep it simple and just play the base game.
Viticulture Essentials is a solid game. But
it's just solid, but it's so cool to add all this stuff. I don't know. We really enjoy adding all the stuff.
The new board and things like that.
The new
really
board
good.
having 4 seasons and just the way you've got, I mean, sure, you've got your guy and your little grande worker who's just awesome because he can cheat and go other places that the other ones can't and all this. But then you've got the specialty meeples again, which we really enjoy. And some of them are hit or miss. Some of them we don't use as much as others. But it's kind of fun for variability when you're playing a game to have a different kind of meeple that you can play. Like one of them kind of does a time traveling thing where he can go, oh, whoop. He can go back to stuff before that after that season is done.
Right.
And go kind of do something real quick.
Right.
And then there's one that like jumps ahead in
Right.
time. And then there's one that can go places others can't. And there's one that you can place early somewhere. And there's all sorts of different things you can do. And I really, really, really enjoy that. Plus,
I assume that's in Tuscany Essentials because we have Tuscany. I assume the specialty workers are in Tuscany.
It's gotta be, I would think.
Because we have the original Viticulture, well, second edition Viticulture, and the original Tuscany. We don't have the essential editions.
Yeah.
There you go, folks! Our top 10 worker placement games. I'm going to go through some quick stuff.
There were people that were mentioning games that I saw and I did have on my list. Of course, Lords of Waterdeep with the expansions because it's amazing. Scoundrels of Skullport, Le Havre, Orléans, Caverna, Yido, Stone Age. No one mentioned Stone Age.
So if you don't go too far in your list...
What?
Your number 1 last time was Pursuit of Happiness. It was not on your list. Asterisk! list?
No. Viticulture would be my number one.
Yeah, but it would be on your list. Pursuit of Happiness was your number one last time, and it's gone. No. I was waiting. Game. I was holding that to myself this entire time.
It is a worker placement
It's very
game.
much a worker placement game.
But do you really block each other?
You take cards away that no one else can get.
Oh, that's true. Okay, because I didn't think of it like that. I didn't think of it as a blocking...
It's very much worker placement.
Okay. Well, then I probably should have put it... I have a really good list
here. All right, so let me go over... She kind of did some honorable mentions. Let's go over our list for last time. Rebecca's list last time. Number 10, The Gallerist.
Yep.
Number 9, Age of Empires 3. Number 8, Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small.
Oh, that's...
Number 7, Le Havre. Number 6, Roll for the Galaxy. Number 5, Scythe, which we've axed. Nope. Number 4, A Feast for Odin.
It's on here. But
number 3, list. Pillars of the Earth. Number 2, Viticulture. Number 1, Pursuit of Happiness. My list last time.
It was the newest and, the latest and greatest. I was, totally enamored with that game.
Number 10, Lords of Waterdeep. Number 9, A Feast for Odin. Number 8, Caverna. Number 7, Voyages of Marco Polo. Number 6, Pillars of the Earth. Number 5, Le Havre. Number 4, Champions of Midgard. 3, Age of Empires 3. 2, Viticulture. And number 1, Side, which we've axed off the list.
You know what? Marco Polo didn't even make it on my list of things this time. Because I have such a solid set of games. Is Glass Road a worker placement? That's the only thing I couldn't remember.
I don't think so. I think it's
it's
card drafting.
That's right. It's card drafting.
You play cards.
Yep.
You play cards that give you actions, and if you don't copy the other person, you get a more powerful action.
Yep.
But if we both did the same action, you get a lesser action.
Okay. Oh, and somebody said specialty workers are in Tuscany Essentials. So
okay.
There you go.
I haven't looked into what's
go.
what. All right. So my honorable mention list is Caverna, Mombasa, Teotihuacan, which I kind of consider worker placement, not worker placement. Yokohama.
I had that on here too.
Ora et Labora.
Yep.
Dinosaur Island. Village.
Yep.
Kanban. The Colonists. Arkwright. Nusfjord. And My Village.
Oh, I had those on here too. Okay, cool. Did you say Charterstone?
No.
Charterstone was on mine too.
Nope.
And then you already had put Underwater Cities. Okay, I think I covered it. Oh, Targi. You didn't mention Targi. And that's one that I really love.
I'm not as big on Targi.
I know, I like Targi more than you. But I think that one also. But yeah, so hopefully we kind of just blasted a whole bunch of games names at you.
There's a lot of really,
so
really
many
good worker placement
games. So many good worker placement games. So yeah, you definitely need to share with us which ones are your go-to worker placement games, because that's something that we like to discover.
Manhattan Project. We should play that sometime.
That's true, because we haven't.
Occasionally, I do the what I call doing a research project. I'll grab an older game that's really popular, and try it out. But I find those are about 50-50 whether I like them or not. Because
if they've aged a little bit now, we've gotten.
I think the reason a lot of people like them, and this is not the case, this is a very generalization, but a lot of people like that because they fell in love with it back then.
Yeah.
And they still hold it in high regard, even though if you actually pulled that game out of that time period, moved it over, and reinserted it in our time period, people would be like, eh.
But it's not just about, how that... I mean, there's always the nostalgia factor and the just love for the game factor. I mean, after a while... It doesn't matter because you've played that. It's got its point in time. It's still good.
Yeah, but I'm saying if I go back and I pull one of these older games and I play it, me with seeing it for the first time and I don't have that nostalgia attached to it.
Oh yeah, that'd be different. But
I just find that when I do
totally
that a lot, it's it's about 50-50 on whether I like it or not.
Coimbra was not.
You know what? That probably would make our list. But this is the first week of school, so we've been crazy busy. So we went out and just pulled games that we rated that Board Game Geek says is worker placement. I don't think that came up as a worker placement game.
It didn't, because I was going to say.
But it is worker placement. If you consider totally Alien Frontiers worker placement, Coimbra
has to be
would be worker placement.
Garbage. I got to put that on here now too, because that's going to bug me.
Yeah, that would definitely have made my list.
Oh, yeah, because Coimbra is wonderful. You're totally right. Yeah, Dinosaur Island. We totally mentioned that one because it's awesome. Yeah, good picks. Automania. That's a good one too. I really like that one, Eric.
We played that one a lot. It's just kind of cool. We kind of cooled on it a little bit.
But it's...
I played it at the... We played it... Did we play it at the retreat? We taught someone.
Mm-hmm, we taught someone to play that. It was a blast. I like playing that one. It's a little bit lighter. For some reason, with our worker placements, we've started to get really heavy because we really like that mechanism so much. We kind of dig into it. And I like Automania because it's smooth play.
Automania is a really solid worker placement game.
Nice medium weight.
Probably maybe a hair below medium.
Maybe. It depends.
It's not quite gateway, but it's...
I was going to say, there's no way. If you had somebody that's never played a game like that before, it's kind of a bit, the conveyor belt stuff, it's a little bit to think about.
And the whole grid of the workers.
Ooh, Shakespeare.
I think we were kind of middle of the road on that one. If it's
worker placement?
It's worker placement.
Oh, I love Shakespeare. I love that game.
No,
but... Hunter's May on it. I love that one. I would think it would be worker placement.
Architects of the West Kingdom and Raiders of the North Sea would just missed my list.
Yeah, same here.
Probably I like Architects more than Raiders. The problem is the thing about our list is we're going to have a lot of big name games that aren't going to be on our list.
Oh, Hunter. George just threw down Great Western Trail. I
don't consider that one worker placement.
Well, yeah, because it's not really...
This is the same reason I didn't put Istanbul on my list, and I didn't put Yokohama on my list, because it's weird because you're moving. I just don't feel like it's worker placement to me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put...
Because I can't just take my worker and put it at wherever I want on the board. You're moving along a track. It's kind of there's a lot of games that are like that where you have a track of actions that you can pick, and you can move forward on the track to do your action. But then you can't do the ones behind it. I consider that almost like a different category of games. I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know. I didn't even think of that as worker placement.
Yeah, I don't think about it either. You're right. It's crappy cow placement.
I've never played Panamax.
I
wanted to play Panamax in Panamax, but I didn't own it. I don't know. I did some research on that game, and if I recall correctly, it doesn't play well too.
Oh,
maybe
bummer.
I don't know. For some reason, I haven't ever played that game. We haven't ever played that one. It looks like an interesting game. It's my kind of game. It's got economic stuff going on and all kinds of cool things. And it's got the spatial thing of moving the ship around. I think it'd be a fun game, but I don't know why I haven't played that one.
I don't know. It must have been something, like you said, not good two-player or something.
Yeah, BGG doesn't have Coimbra as worker placement. That's why we missed it.
There you go.
Because
Thanks, Julio.
we kind of rushed to do our list, and
Get to do our English.
and we just did the search on the worker placement. So there's a few that we missed. That's probably why. I wonder if Pursuit of Happiness isn't listed as worker placement.
That could be, because otherwise, I don't remember seeing it now that you said that.
But what I was saying before I got distracted was, we probably own 60 worker placement games.
Yeah, it's insane. Because we love it. Love
and
it.
we've probably played another 15 or 20 more beyond that. Yeah. It's just there's so many on our list. And like you said, the heavier games, I guess, left more of an impression. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of our mindset now, is to play in the heavier games. So a lot of the more, I guess I wouldn't say lighter, but the ones with less going on, I guess is what I'm trying to say, got kind of pushed down the list. Because there's a lot. I mean, there is a lot of great worker placement games. There may be too many worker placement.
No such thing, sir. No such thing. I think you'll all agree too. No, it's one of those mechanisms that is very versatile, and it's neat. Some games center everything around that, and now sometimes it's just one aspect of it, and I really like where that has gone, and I think it lends itself to a lot of good games, and so that's why I'm excited to hear what other people like to play and stuff like that too, because sometimes it's something out of left field, but it just has a really cool worker placement something in it.
And I think that a lot of the craze now is making games that feel like worker placement but aren't worker placement. If that makes sense. Like Teotihuacan feels like worker placement because you got this rondelle where you're moving dice around.
True.
And you take your dice and you move them around the thing and you land on a spot and you take the action on a spot, which is basically worker placement, right?
Yeah.
And if there's more people at that spot, you pay a penalty, which feels like worker placement. But if you take a step back and look at it, is it worker placement? Because you can't just take that die and go, okay, I want to do this action or I want to do that action. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Great Western Trail, where you're kind of going on a track and you kind of pick and choose what you do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ooh, Walk Steady, that would be an interesting list.
What?
A list of top 10 games that you liked before we got into modern board gaming. That would be fun.
We did there is a list out there. We probably need to redo it. We did our top 10 games from our childhood. It's probably not quite the same thing.
It's not quite the same, though. I don't think.
Pretty close. For me, it's going to be the same. For you, it's going to be different.
It's going to be different. It's going to be different because I played a lot of stuff as a teenager and in college off and on, too. I don't know. That may be worth revisiting.
So you can look at that one. I don't remember what it's called.
That one's close, yeah.
Is it top 10 games from our childhood?
I think that's what you called it, yeah.
Oh no, this is going to make a lot of noise.
What's
Shouldn't have clicked on that.
Why'd you click on it? What are you doing? Oh my gosh, he's entered the internet. Oh man, here we go. He sent him down the rabbit hole.
Not just, we got all these kids. I looked up kids and there's
Why'd you look up kids? You're
5,000
crazy.
things.
We have 1,000 things about kids.
Top 10 games from our childhood.
Boom. Hey, it was a live one, too. Check that out. And it was 2 years ago. What?
So we might do an updated version. I like that. Did you write it down? Did you write it down?
I will.
Yeah, write that down. That's a good one.
All right. There you go.
But
You're
then,
on the list.
But then where do you draw? That's a good question. That'll be your discussion question. Where do you draw the line at modern board games?
Well, I think what he's saying is to where we started to say, hey, you know what? We're board gamers. Right?
So like 2010
I would say,
or 11?
Yeah, I would say when we started playing Dominion. I would say 2008. I would put it back there.
Okay.
That's where I would
I don't know how different my list would be. I bet yours would be different.
Everdell was on my list, actually. I see that Eric said that, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I didn't say it for some reason.
What you buying, Dean?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Top 10 games we board gamers. Yay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's
that.
a good point
that
Walk Steady said that a lot of those games I look back on that I loved. It's like I wouldn't even probably play now.
Kabuki says make a list that you think they would have made. Oh my gosh, that sounds like a Newlywed Game or something.
You know what? Write that down. That is actually a good idea.
Oh no, what are you guys doing to me?
That is a great idea.
What are you
We
doing
make
to
each
me?
other's list and then we comment on how good the list is.
Oh no, or
that
how bad it is.
That is an interesting one.
Oh no, a top 10. What? A top 10
Reverso list. I like that. So basically, we do a variation of games that we like more than the other person, and things, but it's from our perspective. Like games I think you like more than me.
Top 10.
I like that. That's a good idea. That's a good one. That's funny. Yeah, ours was Dominion. It definitely was our gateway game was Dominion. My good friend worked at my best friend worked at a comic book store.
Yep.
And he randomly was getting games. So he got like a crazy employee discount. And that's one of the first games that we played. Because I played games heavy all the way through college. And then I played video games almost completely exclusively from college until 2008. And then he started bringing these games around. He brought around Dominion and Lords of Waterdeep and games like that. And that's what kind of got us back into the hobby. And then I found the Dice Tower, and then it was all over.
I like it. The point when you're a modern board gamer is when you realized you had to buy shelves just for the games.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. It's pretty accurate.
Because we used if you go back to our first videos, we had generic bookshelves behind us.
Oh, totally. It was our bookshelves.
There's a couple of just generic Walmart bookshelves. We still
use them for books.
We still use them for books, but yeah, we eventually we bought a Calyx, and it was all over after that.
Top 10 meh games.
I could do a top.
The irony of
300 meh games.
You are so annoying.
Everything I rate a 7.
Oh my god!
Every game I rate a 7.
So all you have to do is go find your ranked 7s and then make a top 10 list. Is that
yeah, my favorite out of my 7s. That's good. That's a good plan.
Oh, I like that one, Jonathan. So the top 10 games you only play because you love the people you're playing with. Spyfall.
That's most of the games.
Oh my gosh! Oh man! We're about to have some technical difficulties. You guys might want
to
say your goodbyes to Hunter. I know.
No, we honestly, we are
man.
extremely lucky that we like very similar games.
Yeah,
I mean,
cool.
if you get to our fringes, when I get over here and do the heavy economic games, I don't think she likes them as much. And you get over there and get through the crazy I don't even know how to even describe it. The kind of the wild party games.
Wild party games. That sounds like I have a whole different life.
No, not that kind of wild. I think you like games a lot more than me, like Boulder Dash.
Oh, I love
and
word
games
and party games
and things like that.
I do.
She likes those a lot more than I do.
Yep.
But there is just a massive amount of games in the middle that we all like.
Yep. That's true. We're kind of lucky that we just like board gaming in general, I guess, too. Because there's.
I like experiencing new games so much. I'll almost try any game just to try it.
That's pretty wild. You're the wild and rowdy, right there.
All right, folks. I think we're gonna wrap her up.
Oh, we went way over today. You guys, so chatty.
So next Tuesday, we'll be right to the resolution update. I don't know how many games we'll have to update because school's starting.
Woohoo!
But we're going to definitely do a live play of some kind.
Yido.
I'm
kidding.
I'm playing till 2 in the
morning. Yeah, I was gonna say not during the week.
I want to play live. What I want to play live is Rhino Hero Super Battle, but I can't think of how to get the massiveness in the screen here. I guess if we back the camera way up, maybe.
We may have to just move it a couple times. That's a thing.
Yeah, but that's what I want to play live. I think it'll be fun to play live. Because we can chit-chat while we're playing and stuff like that.
We could set it in the...
start
the game in the floor.
No. I'm talking Super Battle. Super Battle only gets to be about this tall.
Oh, that's true.
So it might fit in the screen.
You say that.
Super Battle... But no, because you only go so many floors in Super Battle. I think it only goes 3 or 4. I don't know.
We'll look at it.
But Rhino here won't work because that's all the way to the ceiling, so...
You're assuming we're good at it.
Our lack of sleep from the first week of school.
Top 10 games you would throw away if the other wasn't looking. Ah, that's funny.
You know what? Funny. I can make that list right now.
Oh my gosh.
I can make that list right now.
Anybody
I don't know if there's any games that we own that you love that I despise.
Or vice versa.
I don't think that we own any.
No.
Any games like that.
I'll
but there's several. There's a lot
nonsense.
I would get. When we're talking about culling, we're just gonna keep talking.
I know.
When we're talking about culling games, there are times when I go, "Yeah, that one can go," and she's like, "What? No!" And that's probably the border of I wouldn't mind it disappearing and
Hoarders Board Game Edition.
5 on the spot.
Boom! That's gonna happen. 5 games we'd chuck.
All right, you guys, we'll strongly consider playing Yido live. It's going to be massively long.
Ooh, that's going to be long.
2 players.
You guys would tolerate
two players is about two hours or so.
You got to reteach it too. Or are you going to teach me?
Well, I'm going to teach just so people would know how it plays. But anyway, those are some good ideas. Thanks for the ideas. We're going to get out of here next Tuesday. Resolution update and probably Rhino Hero Super Battle live, where I destroy Rebecca with my monkey. I don't know what guys.
I don't even know what that means. It just sounds horrible.
The little monkeys that hang off the sides.
Oh, that's stupid. I'm so tired. I'm like, what? Okay.
Get us out of here.
Oh my goodness. Bye. It was wonderful to see you all
we
again.
Lost some frames somewhere along the line.
We lost some frames, sorry. I was talking.
Go ahead.
My train derailed. I don't even know what I was saying. Take care, people.
We'll see ya
next week. Same bat time. Same
Rebecca's
bat channel.
Rebecca's going to be very tired. It's going to be funny. Bye.